Anyway, so what do you got for us this week?
So I went back to I had something big, and then I was like, there's too much. This is too much. I got to figure out how to pare it down a little bit. So I went with another one that I also was really excited for, and I'm going the linguistics route again.
Okay.
And yeah, so this time it's a tab called, the article is called "What the Folk? The Charming Yet Totally Malappropriate Story of Folk Etymology."
What the folk are you talking about, Hannah?
I'll tell
you.
Folk off. Okay, folk etymology. Off. So word etymologies are always really
all I heard was
what have I done?
Was folk edamame was all I heard when you said that.
I'm going to teach you all to make edamame.
Love edamame.
Put it in the microwave. So yeah, etymologies are the histories of where words come from, and they're you know, and a lot of times, have you ever seen websites that are like, here's a list of surprising words and what they mean and where they come from, and it's like stuff that just seems a little too good to be true.
I can't say that I've necessarily looked that up, but I believe you that it exists.
Okay, so there's a lot of things like that people are like, and this word comes from this, and a lot of it's not real, but that's what I'm getting into today. Folk etymologies, which are popular but mistaken accounts of the origins of words or phrases.
Oh, you're pulling the curtain back. You're doing some investigatory journalism.
It's kind of going to ruin some things. So have you ever heard
this is good. This is going to prevent people from sounding like idiots at dinner parties.
Do you follow exactly? Or they might turn into me trying to hold their tongue and not ruin the party by being like, actually, but
listen,
hey.
I don't want to be at a party that you're not at ruining. That seems like a party that's not worth going to.
That is honestly one of the nicest things anyone has ever said to me.
Why do you think I started a podcast with you? Are you insane?
I don't know. Yes, I am. You know that.
That's true. That was a rhetorical question.
No, I know. We're both insane. Anyway, so do you follow the account Fake History Hunter on Twitter?
No.
This account is fascinating. It's this person who
cool.
They made it their crusade to find all the fake history that these history accounts or interesting facts accounts will spread. So here's an example, the phrase rule of thumb. Yeah. A lot of that on the internet, everyone's like, that comes from an old English law that a man could beat his wife with a stick if it was no larger than his thumb. It was called the rule of thumb. Okay. And that is not 100% not true. That's
okay.
It was, and of course I didn't actually look up what it really means, but
man, you set me up and then didn't pay it off.
Oh yeah, this makes sense as so what it comes from actually is using the thumb as a unit of measurement. So the old English word for inch,
inch
is actually inch. It's for the word inch. It's actually defined as the breadth of a man's thumb at the base of the nail. So an inch comes from rule of thumb, using your thumb to measure, which I do all the time with if I don't have a ruler, I'm like, this is as long as my arm or whatever. Anyway, so that's one example of it's been spread far and wide, and it's that's not true. Or the F word, fornication under something
cardinal
of the
knowledge.
King. Yeah,
I thought it was fornication under cardinal knowledge is what I remember.
Something like that. And it's not. It comes from a German word for plow, to plow.
Plow. Anyway, I love it.
Yeah. It's even better. That's the thing. It's that makes sense. Anyway, so humans, besides the mistaking it and assigning it to other meanings, it's also defined as the transformation of words so as to give them an apparent relationship to better known or better understood words. So
yeah, that makes sense.
We hear a word and we're like, that sounds like this, and that makes more sense.
You're like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're gonna go with that, and I'll get to some of the examples. But since humans, we love answers and craving knowledge.
We love patterns.
We love patterns and answers and making links in our head to things. We will we'll get really interested in this, even if it's made up, even if we kind of know in the back of our heads that it's made up. We like that feeling of it being whole or complete in a fun way.
Yeah, that's a witch. She put a thing into my brain. It's not because of logic. I like burning witches.
Is this my second warning?
Yeah, that's satisfying. Yeah. You better not ruin anything else for me, Hannah.
I'm about to.
You're on thin ice.
Well, that's one way to test a witch. One of my pet peeves is, this is similar, but when somebody shares like little facts, and one of the facts is always, back in the day, humans only lived to be 30. I hate this. I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's not true. It's never been true. When everyone's like, 30 was old age, I want to like drop kick them into space. Because it's like they're including the infant mortality rate. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Why would the human race survive if we could only... Anyway, so most people actually
live 30,
lived...
right.
Most people actually live to be between 50 and 70. That's my thing that I will crusade for the rest of my life. Anyway, so
until you're buried in the ground.
Till I'm dead in the ground, 6 feet under. So the reason I got into this tab hole, because it's a hole.
Okay.
Warning you now. But the reason I got into it was because I was like, where does the word okay come from? Because I was looking at okay, and it's just 2 letters. So like, what does that mean? It's got to be short for something. Turns out, no one really knows.
Okay.
There's like 100 guesses or more. People just being like, maybe this, maybe that, and a lot of them were like just based on Andrew Jackson.
What?
And like he made it up, and no, I think it was just
like he popularized it. Maybe is what they're thinking.
Yeah, but it's probably from. They've settled on one that's probably the thing, which is abbreviation of or correct.
What? Oh, correct?
Oral correct. Spelled
oral correct? What the hell?
So among all of the hundreds of reasons that it could mean okay, oral correct comes from like a humorous form of saying all correct.
Oral correct, like they were making fun of it, like somebody was hanging out with their friends and someone said all correct and he was like, oral correct.
Well, no, that's like, it just sounds like all in a different, like, or like a Boston accent.
Yeah.
Oral correct.
Oral correct.
And it was
Fasten.
And that's what they kind of settled on. Like it kind of goes back to old correct misspelled, which I don't like that. And no one likes it, which is why they like to like assign it to other things. Like Andrew Jackson made it up.
Naturally, that's the next logical extrapolation of that. It's like, it's not quite oral correct. Andrew Jackson. Clearly.
Oral correct.
Oral correct.
Some places it says oral correct and some says all correct.
Yeah, it just sounds like English, like all correct.
Yeah. They think it was just like a kind of a jokey way to say all correct.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. But really, truly, we don't know. That's the best guess.
Somebody else was like, that's stupid. It should just be okay. I'm not saying that anymore.
Yes, exactly. Like, we're just going to, and now it's one of the most used words in the world because every language has borrowed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it goes across every language.
They also think it might have been from
another reference
Native American for like, good, God, good, got it, good, or whatever, something like that.
Also very famously in the movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme when he first shows up and he's trying to get into where the Komite is secretly hiding. There's a giant guard that's holding it and he like looks at them and then he just goes, okay, USA. And then he lets them in. I'll show you the clip. It's really funny.
I have a lot of movies to watch.
Bloodsport is a classic film.
Okay.
It's cinema with a capital C.
I
love Bloodsport.
Every film.
Because I love a lot of movies.
I know. You went to like movie school or whatever.
I know. It's so dumb.
It's not called movie school.
It should be. I have a master's in movie school.
I have a master's in folk etymology. No, I don't.
Folk etymology.
So there's so many. I got reading about okay, and that's a whole different tab. I can't go into that. It's too much.
All right.
But then I was like, oh, it's an example of folk etymology. So I followed that tab, and there it was, this giant list of just
the
endless
motherlode
words. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands. So I went through and picked the ones that felt really interesting to me. So for example, sirloin, like sirloin steak.
Sirloin steak, yeah.
There was, for like 300 years, people were like, oh, sirloin comes from when King James, of the Bible fame, pulled out his sword and knighted a really exceptionally delicious piece of meat that he was eating as sirloin, because it was from the loin of the cow. Anyway, turns out that's not true at all, of course.
No.
And it was from French, sir, above, loin, above the loin.
Yeah. I thought that was just like a cheeky nickname somebody gave for their own genitals. Be like, it's the sirloin. You will address him as the loins. No, he's not my loins. It's sirloin.
Honestly, knowing about King James, that would be more likely to be believed because that guy.
Listen, we're starting that rumor right now, and it's going to spread. And then that account that you mentioned on Twitter is going to have to try and debunk us later.
Sorry, you're my favorite account. Yeah. Another one is muskrat. So like
muskrat, yeah.
Yeah, that little rodent that lives here in America.
He owns Twitter.
He owns. Oh my gosh, you're right. He's ruining it. Muskrat.
Don't put rodents in charge of giant social media conglomerates.
No, they'll drive them into the ground, just like me when I'm dead. So this is the word for. This is the word for that little rodent that's native to North America. So when the English came over in the 1600s, they heard the native Massachusetts tribe call them musquash. And they were like, that sounds kind of like musk, which kind of sounds like something an animal would smell like, and rat, which that thing looks like a rat. So that is what they did. They're like, that's a muskrat. And really, it's just from a native word that doesn't even mean rat or musk, obviously.
Interesting.
Avocado is another one. So, yeah. Your favorite.
Yeah.
Avocado comes from an Aztec word from the Nahuatl language. Please, I hope I pronounced that. I think I did.
We're doing our best.
And it comes from the Nahuatl word aucatl. Auacatl.
Auacatl.
And that's the root word for avocado. And so when the Spanish came over, they were like, "What? We'll go with aguacate." That sounds a little bit like it. Same with chocolate. Chocolate was a word from the same language, and they were like, "Chocolate." We're gonna go with that as we destroy.
Interesting. That's where the origins of chocolate actually is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing: everybody thinks that avocado means testicle, and it doesn't. But it kind of does. So the Aztecs would nickname testicles avocados because they were wrinkly.
It was a chicken and the egg kind of situation.
Yes, it was like this is the word for avocado, but we're also going to call our testicles these because they look kind of like,
Because men, basically.
Men are like, that looks like my balls.
Yeah, because dudes rock, as the kids would say.
Oh, yeah. So it kind of went in like it was like a little slang thing, but the internet got a hold of that and they were like, avocado means balls, and everybody started talking about testicle sauce being guacamole and like
testicle sauce being guacamole,
testicle toast.
I've never heard of this.
Okay,
testicle toast.
Yeah, when really it's not. I'm being nitpicky, but it doesn't come from that. It's just a nickname for it. Anyway.
I see. There's a middleman here. Yeah.
Yes. There's the root word and then thing is anyway. I thought that one was funny though because I like the word testicle sauce.
Testicle sauce is great. Testicle.
It's disgusting.
Toast as well is really funny.
Anyway, this is one of my favorite ones. Is hangnail. Hangnail.
Hangnail. Okay. Yeah.
You know, the little piece of skin that comes off and it hurts right next to your nail. It has nothing to do with a finger, a nail, or skin at all.
Or hanging.
Or hanging, actually. You're right. It originally came from Old English for agnail. Agnail?
Agnail,
and ag is the same root word for anger. So it was like like aggravate or what?
It's an angry nail.
Well, pretty much. But they were using it to describe a corn on the foot, on your foot. Corn on the foot.
Okay. Corn on the foot.
Disgusting.
It's delicious. My favorite barbecue item.
My favorite summer item is corn on the foot. So corns, I guess, I've never had one. I don't know what they are, but they're like painful things on your feet. And the Old English would describe it as an angry nail, meaning like it felt like someone was putting a spike into their foot. Right?
That's my favorite Alice in Chains song, by the way. Sitting with an angry nail. Hi.
That was good.
That's a angry chair is the song.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Do you know that song?
Good. Yes.
Oh, you actually know one.
Maybe. Okay, let's go.
Oh my God,
Let's
I'm
move
impressed.
on. I'm embarrassed. I don't know why I'm embarrassed.
I was like, why? Yeah.
I don't know. Like the second you were like, you know that one, I was like, hide. Like, I don't know why.
I'm excited. I'm excited that you knew it because you didn't know any of the other references, and I felt bad. But you know that one, so we.
Oh, so it comes from agnail, meaning painful spike, and somewhere along the line, because the word nail is the same root word for the nail for your finger and the nails you hammer into buildings.
Right.
And so people were like, oh,
which
nail.
Is weird.
This.
Yeah.
And after a while, agnail started sounding like hangnail or angnail. And they were like, oh, it makes sense. A hangnail is your nail and there's something hanging off of it. And in the 1600s, it kind of made this switch into like, now we're calling this a hangnail that's on my finger and not my foot with a gross growth on it.
Which became corn for some reason.
They call it a corn. I don't know why.
Reminds me of this food that's yellow or different colors, and then we barbecue on it and make tortilla chips. Corn's the best. Corn.
So good.
That kid, remember the corn kid? That guy was great.
Yeah, corn.
He's like, we're all eating corn.
Yeah, he's great.
He's very cute.
Anyway, I have just a few more. Sand blind. Have you heard sand blind?
Sand blind? Wow, yeah. Hannah, racist much?
There's sand all over the world.
Wow, Hannah. You just think I'm...
You know what sand is, right? You love sand.
I hate sand, and I slaughtered all of them like animals.
So sand blind? I've heard this like you get snow blind.
I've never heard of sand blind before.
Sand blind.
Like in a sandstorm? Like
yeah,
Darude?
Like, yeah.
Wow. I think I am not medicated enough this morning.
No, I also am not. I don't think either of us are medicated. My brain is everywhere right now. I'm thinking about Zelda now. Thank you. Is that
I'm just thinking about Darude. No, Sandstorm by Darude.
Oh, I thought you went Gerudo, like the Gerudo. Anyway.
Oh, that part's cool too. I have played that. It's really fun.
Yeah. I don't know.
But Sandstorm, I really want to hear Sandstorm.
This is why I dropped out of college, because I couldn't I couldn't focus enough to take a test and pass it.
So Darude is the origin of the term sand blind. No, I'm also spreading lies. Okay. Sand blind comes from where? It's being blind from being in a sandstorm.
Yeah, but it means actually half blind, because in Old English, it was Sam meant half, like Sam. So it meant Sam blind, and it just meant half blind. And then everyone's like, that sounds like sand, which makes more sense, kind of. Same with shamefaced. Do you know that word?
Shamefaced. I mean, as an adjective, sure, but is there another meaning for it?
Yeah, it came from shamefast, which meant like fixed shame. So you're not shamefaced, but you're shamefast, like you're fastened and you're,
Oh, I thought it was like I'm going to go on a shame fast and not feel bad for like 16 hours. Yeah. It's 8 o'clock at night. I'm going to go on my shame fast and I'm not going to experience shame till tomorrow at noon. And then at that point I can also it's like intermittent shaming.
I'm on this new mental health diet called intermittent shaming. And when I sleep, I don't get shamed, but I can't shame till noon.
Sometimes I wake up, I want to experience some shame, and it's really tough. But I know if I just get through that,
I can experience all the shame I want at noon.
At noon. But it's important to not over shame, because then you're nullifying the effects of going on that shame fast.
I would fail the shame fast.
Yeah, this is what all the big Hollywood celebrities are doing. That's how they get into shape for all these Marvel movies. They're shame fasting. That's how they get into shame
for all these Marvel movies. This is off the rails. Okay, I'm going to cut some of these for time, because there's too many.
No, keep going. We got time.
We do? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine. I already did avocado. Did you know that avocados look like testicles?
Have you heard the term, what was it? Testicle toast before?
Testicle toast. Okay. Cockroach.
Okay.
So cockroach is another one of those things where the English
Not
were
going to
like,
make any jokes. Yeah, just go with this one. I'm going to
no,
try to
there's
not
going to be a
interject.
lot of chances for you to make jokes. So I'd say hold off for like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a better place to make a joke. So
Okay.
the original Spanish is cucaracha, which is the song, La Cucaracha. And it just kind of means like beetle or like butterfly or caterpillar, or just a little bug. And when the English got a hold of it in 1620, of course, they were like,
how do we ruin this?
They're like, that sounds like cock.
Yeah. Oh.
We use that word for a lot of things. We use it for roosters. We use it to describe someone who's like, you know, vigorous and big and fast. And it sounds like roach, which I still haven't figured out what roach was. They just knew it was a word. So they were like, that sounds like cock and roach. We're going to call it a cockroach. And so I was like, well, where did roach come from? And so then I went on a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's why I was late to recording today, because I had to figure out where the word roach comes from. So
it's a reasonable excuse for showing up late to the office.
Exactly. No, I was in here.
In our line of work, it is. Yeah. You're like, sorry, boss.
Yeah. I have to figure this out.
I have to figure this out. And I'm like, Godspeed, go for it. Yeah.
But still haven't really figured it out. There was like a fish that was called a roach, but it was some English word for something. I don't know. But while I was finding out what roach meant, I found that there were these bugs in Europe called maybugs.
Okay.
Also called cockchafers. There.
Cockchafers?
I'm handing this to you on a platter.
What were they doing with these bugs?
Well, chafing was like, they used that to like talk about like cutting stuff. I don't know, like in the fields, chafing.
Oh, okay.
And so like these bugs were known to like, you know, chew on things. So kill me. I can't describe this. So they called them cockchafers. I don't know why. Because they did it fast. But yeah, so there's these bugs that are still in existence called cockchafers. So
cockchafers.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not even going to make the obvious jokes here, but I'm just going to say
you don't have
questionable.
to.
Questionable.
Yeah. So I didn't find out where roach came from, but I did discover cockchafers, the bug.
It's, in many ways, that's the greater gift for us, actually.
I think so. I think so, too. And then here's another one that I went nuts on is bachelor.
Okay.
So we know it as somebody who's single, a man who's single, or somebody who gets a degree. A very popular
TV show, right?
I forgot about that TV show. Well, how did I forget? I've never seen it. Have you?
I have only seen it parodied. I've never actually watched it. I may have walked in on Sarah watching it at some point, like just going to the kitchen or something.
Yeah.
There was an old one.
Oh.
There was like an old guy that I think it was like the geriatric bachelor.
Or she's watching the Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelor. I like how you're like, I've never seen it. Also, I know the name of the show.
No. I have
also, here's my Golden Bachelor tattoo on my forearm that I just got because I'm such a huge fan.
It's the cast members, all their faces up my arm. Yeah.
It's their signatures. I got it off eBay.
Yeah, I had him sign my arm. What was I? Bachelor.
Bachelor was the word. I'm sorry. And then you said bachelor was also the term for when you get your undergraduate degree, bachelor's.
The degree I never got, that I spent 8 years trying to get, never got. But you know what? Who cares? No one's ever asked. So bachelor, you got a bachelor. Oh yeah, you got another degree too, huh?
I have many degrees. It's gross.
How many?
I mean, no, I have 2, but I just mean like
okay.
I have a master's and a bachelor's.
Oh, that's right. Good job.
Basically, unless you go to certain places where they're just like, oh, you think you're cool because you got a master's? Coastal
elite.
Coastal elite. Like, oh, let me tell you something.
Critical thought. What an idiot.
Yeah.
So bachelor starts crazy. Like no one really knows where it comes from. There's a bunch of different ideas, but it's old. The word bachelor is old, and it comes from this. One of the first times you see it is bachelor, and it means a junior knight. So it was like a young poor boy who was like kind of a knight.
Like a squire, not quite, like an assistant to the knight, not even a squire.
It was just kind of like one of the guys, but he wasn't a full knight.
He was like knight by association.
Yeah, and then he wasn't a full knight. He wasn't knighted, but he was still like a knight. I don't understand the rankings of like knights. I need to get on
I feel
that.
like knight's like the top knight, right? Isn't it like when you're a knight, that's it? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Let's ask
Or
Sir
as-
Loin.
Sir- Hey, Sirloin, how's that testicle toast treating you? It all comes back to dicks.
It's true. The whole world. Anyway, so this poor young crappy knight was called a bachelor. And they may have thought it came from French for something or Latin for field hand, but they don't really know.
Okay, that makes sense.
When Oxford University and Cambridge opened, like they started using it to refer to somebody who was getting a bachelor's degree. And this was like in the 1300s, 1400s, or no, even earlier. Those universities are super old. And around this time, they also started thinking, maybe it comes from baccalaureus. Have you heard of the baccalaureate program?
Yeah.
It's like smart high schoolers or whatever.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. I was not in it, but I remember it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought the bachelor came from the same root word as baccalaureus because it sounds similar. So they kind of combined them when really baccalaureus is completely separate. It means like crown of laurels or something, to like crown Caesar or whatever, or a poet. But they had nothing to do with each other.
It all feels related, though. I could see that where like you're getting crowned with something once you have a degree, like it's an honor of some sort. Yeah,
which is
it makes sense.
Perfect example of a folk etymology of being like, oh, this is that. That makes sense. We're putting it here now. Now it's a bachelor degree because we were crowned with graduation.
That makes sense.
And so that's where that came from. And then, but it still kept that other meaning of like single man. And so there were these two meanings that were...
Doesn't even make sense.
No.
Increasing, especially these days, it makes even less sense because increasingly now less and less men have college degrees. Like women have more college degrees than men do by some insane ratio. Right. It's like 2-to-1 or something. I don't know if it's exactly that, but it's not 2-to-1. I don't know if exactly that's what it is, but I'm saying it's something along the lines of like way more women have bachelor's degrees than men do.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. We're taking over. Get ready to be oppressed. Just kidding.
That sounds like witch talk to me.
Third warning. I'm gonna die.
Another witch warning. I'm like, hey, can we put like flames coming up on the bottom of your screen right now to make sure that you're on fire?
Alyssa? So that she can't. No, don't do that, Alyssa. No, that's my third witch warning. But I will say, Alyssa, if we'll make a graphic. No promises. But I want to make a little number graphic where it goes ding whenever I hit the next witch number. So I'm at 3 now. And how many do I need before you kill me?
Why are you asking me numbers, witch? I don't know how many it is. You know, you're the witch.
4? I'm at my 4th? So wait, how many do I need before I get burned at the stake?
Listen, it really depends on my mood, I guess. I feel like that's how it works.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's how it worked.
Last time it was 3, but this time it's 1. Next time it'll be 6. It depends on how much testicle toast I've consumed this week.
Great. I don't
right
know
now you're at 3. You're at 3. 3 warnings of which your third witch warning.
Okay. I'm going off topic for a second because another really big thing that bothers me when people say that the Salem witches were burned. They were not burned. The ones in Salem, Massachusetts were hung or pressed with a big board.
Pressed with a board?
Yeah.
Like they just stood on top of a board? Like
they put them under a board and then just put rocks on top of it until they died. Anyway, so don't you
dare. Are they like underground or something? I don't actually know this.
Oh, no, they're on top of the ground. They just put them on the ground. So they would
just lie down and then just dump a bunch of rocks on them.
Yeah.
And then put a board on top of it.
So I was going to say, don't anybody go around saying that they were burned. No, or I'm going to find you and I will commit witchcraft. Be angry.
Yes, she'll put you in a panini press and push down just like they did.
I had a job where I had to do that. I worked at a bakery making paninis.
Yeah.
I'd be really good at killing someone with a panini press.
That's your witch roots coming back because you've been reincarnated. And you know what it's like to press things.
Hey, quick question. Where are we? What are we talking about? I don't actually know anymore. Bachelor.
Yes, Bachelor.
Unhinged. So later, bachelor came to mean someone who was single and eligible to marry. So this is the first time it ever meant really like what we see it as today. Before it was like, I'm a dumb knight, or I graduated. And now it's someone who in the Victorian times was, this is important, was rich, and someone that any parent would want their daughter to marry. Eligible bachelor. So nowadays it's like literally anyone, any guy who's not married.
Now it's literally an insult.
Yes, it's like,
now it means you have your
bachelor.
mattress on the floor, you drink milk out of the carton, and you do a lot of gaming probably.
Oh my gosh, am I bachelor coded? No, I only do gaming.
You never had your mattress on the floor?
No, I definitely did.
Oh, okay, yeah. There you go.
Then I got a bed frame.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bed frame, that was a big, I can confirm. That was like when I got...
I felt like an adult when I got a real bed frame.
Literally, at the time, my fiance forced me to do it finally. And I was like, okay.
Whoa. Congratulations. Yeah. That's when I got one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bachelor was an eligible bachelor, someone who was like potentially a good partner for their daughter. And then there was also the term confirmed bachelor, which meant that guy is gay. And that was a nice way of saying. Oh, that's what
confirmed bachelor means.
Yes. Confirmed bachelor is like a little, like a sly, like, here's how we say that someone's gay. Like, which president was it that was never married? He was a confirmed bachelor.
Who was? Lincoln's the one that I always think of that people talk about him having like a relationship with his friend
he's like
or whatever. That was like a
bisexual icon right there.
Yeah. All that red and green lighting behind him every time they took a photograph.
Red and green?
You ever heard the term bisexual lighting? It's like a whole thing.
It's not red or green.
Oh, it's like blue and purple or something. I don't know. It's always like some extreme lighting.
How dare you?
Oh.
Just kidding. Yeah, it's blue and purple and pink.
Blue and purple and pink, yes. Yeah. That's how I'm sure there's paintings that people did of Abraham Lincoln with that lighting. And if not, this is a call to you to make it happen. This needs to
please
update the presidential painting in the White House.
And make him look really like, and because he doesn't know where he belongs. Because everyone says he's going through a phase.
Intense or everyone says he's really just lighting on Lincoln.
Or everyone really says he's just pretending for attention. I don't know what any of that's like. Okay. Then which was okay, so confirmed bachelor was he's just gay. And then they started being like, well, what do we call a girl bachelor? This was like in the 50s. And they were like, we'll call it a bachelor girl. Until someone was like, no.
Perfect.
We're calling it a bachelorette because French sounds fancy and we're making this up. So the word bachelorette is made up by us in the 1950s.
All right.
That's it. There's so many more I could talk about, but I shouldn't. There's no way. So sorry, everybody, go read about these.
What was your favorite one out of all of these?
Out of all of these, I weirdly had a lot of fun with the Bachelor one because I felt like I was going down these windy roads. But the one that made me laugh the most was the avocado one.
Yeah. Testicle toast.
Yep.
Testicle sauce? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Which is weird.
These millennials and their testicle
toast. What kind
toast.
of guacamole are you guys eating that it's sauced? It's too thick. The viscosity of guacamole is not sauce.
Yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't think of it as a sauce.
Well, maybe you haven't eaten the right testicle sauce, so.
I thought you were going to say you haven't eaten the right testicles.
That too.
I've eaten 0.